Hello, my name is Jay Damle, and I'm the author of the book Unscheduled Delays. Why do they happen and how to avoid them? The book is available on Amazon. I also have a website www.bookunscheduleddelays.com. Please visit the website as there are few free bonuses which are available when you visit the site. In this video, I will present key planning and scheduling tools that I believe every project over a few $1,000,000 should have. Just like a warrior needs good weapons to fight a battle, a planner scheduler also needs a set of reliable tools to fight the daily battles that he may very well face on his job. Lack of having these tools won't be, of course, life-threatening. However, they can be career-threatening and they can also be health-threatening. Most, if not all, industrial-scale projects over a few $1,000,000 go through this formal evaluation or a stage gate process from the feasibility phase to its completion as shown in the diagram on this slide. At each stage, the economic viability of a project is scrutinized and the project moves ahead only if it proves to be economically feasible and viable at the end of each stage grade. In this book, we'll only focus on those projects which have completed all the stage gate process, and at the end of the stage gate process, the project has proved that it is economically viable and it will be profitable if undertaken. As the project is moving through these phases, somewhere in the latter part, the project planner and scheduler will have sufficient information about the project work scope, the organization chart, the work breakdown structure, the work execution philosophy and work execution plan, work locations, and the end users for whom the schedules will be prepared and who will ultimately be the owners of the schedule. The end users that the planner scheduler will face is best shown by this diagram on this slide. On the left hand side, you will notice that there are various levels of schedules that are presented. Level 1 being the summary level schedule for senior project management and the client, down to levels 4, 5, 6 for the working hands. Mind you, not all of these levels will be present on every single project, but if your project is running into several $100,000,000 to $1 billion plus dollars, it is probably in your best interest to have most of these schedule levels on your project to allow you a better control of the plans for your project. Schedule validation, on the other hand, is that the upward arrow that you see where the validation begins at the lowest level and moves up forward from level 5 down to level 5 to 4 to 3 to 1. And unless this schedule validation is completed, you really do not have a schedule which you can start using and start depending on. In this book, we will focus our attention on the level 3 schedule, which I believe are at the heart of the schedule program. In the later part of the book, we will touch on the level 4 and the level 5 schedules, which are so very important to make sure that you keep track of the progress that you're making on the project. The level 3 schedules are based on the critical path method, or the CPM scheduling technique. This technique requires you to develop a fundamentally sound logic, duration, and resource-driven schedule of engineering or design, procurement or contract, construction or build compile activities, or EPC network, with a consideration for commissioning and startup or testing phase. The CPM scheduling technique uses the two concepts of forward and backward pass, which are not really complex to understand, and these forward and backward pass will allow you to calculate for each and every single activity an early start and a late start, an early finish and a late finish, with a total float for each activity, which will determine whether the activity is on a critical path or a non-critical path that has some float or slack for its start and finish dates. The book itself goes much more into detail of how to calculate or use the forward and backward pass calculations. But for succinctness, I have relegated that to the book. Please visit my website and the book to better understand these concepts. As I said, these are not difficult concepts, but you do need to understand these concepts, as the book will time and again use these concepts, use the concept of CPM scheduling and so on for these projects. The concepts are again used to develop a logic, duration, and resource-driven schedule, which will produce perhaps the two most significant tools that every project schedules have, and these are the critical path and the percentage progress curves. Let's go over those in the next slide. On this slide, I have shown these two tools, the critical path, which you see here on the left-hand side, and the percentage progress curve, which I have shown on the right-hand side. The critical path, as you can see, you have activities here, the activities durations, the activities early start and completion dates, and then what you see is this particular line, which is the completion date for the project. You can see the current activity path for these three critical activity paths are taking you beyond the end of the project completion date. That means unless the project team takes action and resolve this critical path to bring the completion dates before the completion deadline, your project will not finish on time, will be delayed. So every time you update your schedules, you must go through this analysis. We'll of course talk about that later in the book. The second one is of course the project percent completion or progress curve, which is generated by the resource loading of the quantities and the man hours that you have done on each of the activities in your schedule. And for your project to also finish on time, you must make sure that your actual progress remains on this S-curve, which is your planned percent progress curves. Of course, again, we will discuss this in the later chapters. But along with these two tools that I mentioned, you also must have some other reports and documents that you need to check the integrity of your schedule, and B, the validity and the achievability of your schedule. The first one is basis and assumptions document. The next one is manpower histograms, and then your ability to measure labor productivity. And if the project manager and his or her team is not schedule savvy, they will face a difficult time in achieving a schedule success. Again, for accessing the detailed discussions on how to put these important tools together, please visit my site to purchase a copy of the book and also get the free bonuses. Thank you. In the next video, we'll look at some of the reasons why your project starts recording, some of the causes of the schedule delays. So, see you in the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you. Bye.